Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to this episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Stephen.
And I'm Taylor.
And we've done it after 10 minutes of laughing and struggling to get this started. We are away.
We are absolutely away.
I have no idea what to expect from this because our energy today seems to be all over the place.
It's chaotic. You know what happened? Everybody got waitlisted on this podcast for Taylor Swift tickets, and that's what happened. The chaotic energy abounds.
Yeah, my heart's just broken and I don't care anymore. So let's just go with it. Stephen's so dead he won't even talk.
Yep.
You're just so devastated.
That's nothing unusual from him anyway, so.
There's always however many years until she does her next tour.
None. It's the last one ever.
First off though, can we just pause for a second and recognize that of all of the tours, this was gonna be the one, because she was doing stuff from every era. And it was just we're never going to get that again. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And now I hate everybody in Ticketmaster.
Listen, I'll mug someone outside the stadium and take their tickets. I don't care.
Honestly. Oh, also I heard apparently there's a lot of people so one of the managers at the place I work at is I guess a total Swiftie, and he registered himself and 6 other family members, and everyone got waitlisted. And he was I heard on the news that people are saying that they're just going to fly in without tickets and just take their chances day of.
On the scalpers on the street?
Yeah, I'm are you crazy? That to me
There's
is
not going to be any.
Insane. I know.
Also, who is carrying around 16 grand cash to hand over to a scalper?
At
Yeah, I'm going to walk around downtown.
If I see that deal go down, I am robbing that person.
Yeah.
Because I feel at that point, that's the moral thing to do, right?
Yes.
Yes. 100%. And it's not even we could sit outside and listen to the concert because it's the Rogers Center and it's going to be closed and it's November.
Damn it.
Why couldn't she pick one of the beach venues and then just, can you imagine doing snow on the beach in the middle of winter in Canada? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but the problem with that is there's
you fit 5,000 people there.
Yeah, that's it.
Fine.
She should do a surprise show, and for all of the broken-hearted Torontonians who couldn't go, we'll just fight to the death. We'll have a gladiator.
I'm not gonna lie, I do like my odds.
Yeah.
I don't actually like my odds in that.
Oh, we will 100% sacrifice you.
What the heck?
It's for the greater good of the podcast. For you to die, for us to get Taylor Swift tickets enhances this podcast.
Are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Okay, maybe we can sacrifice Steven.
That's what I fucking thought. Okay. I'm kidding. No one's sacrificing anyone. We can't sacrifice anyone.
A Ferrari strategist, we can sacrifice them.
Yes.
No, it's not good enough.
That's fair. Anyway, so it's summer break, obviously, so not a whole lot's going on too much in the F1 world. We did
a whole F1 episode already.
Yep. We have IndyCar going on still, which is still no competition when it comes to the championship, but great on-track competition. And also you got NASCAR, where Stephen, Chase Elliott is not going to make the playoffs.
Well, definitely not on points now. That's for damn sure.
Oh my gosh. No. Chase Elliott is just not going to make the playoffs.
Considering... Are we starting?
Sorry,
with NASCAR? Are we starting with NASCAR?
Okay, let's start there. Let's go there. Fine.
Because I was gonna say, if we want to talk, well, one, we can just skip Richmond. That was a fucking shit race, and it was race. Let's go to Michigan, because Michigan was much more fun. And either way, all we have to say is Chris Buescher.
RFK has come out of nowhere recently, and all of a sudden they're putting great results.
Ford in general has come out of nowhere. I don't know where the hell I don't know where the hell the Chevys have gone to. The Chevys have just fucked right off, especially Hendrick.
Oh, they are
Holy.
after dominating the first half of the year. Yeah, they are nowhere.
And by fucked off, there's like Larson. I still think had a top 10 finish. Where was he?
Didn't Larson crash out? Oh no, Larson was the only one that didn't crash out.
Yes, he survived. It was Bowman crashed out, Byron crashed out, and then got was it the pit timer? What was it? 6-minute pit timer?
Damage clock. I can't remember the NASCAR.
Whatever it is.
Time, whatever. Yeah.
Time ran out, and you just saw the team sort of just give up in the pit lane. Elliott had a right rear just go flat on him, which that's unfortunate. I don't know what you do there or who you blame because that's just a mechanical failure.
Yeah.
Shit. And then you had Larson in the top 5, and where was Bowman got caught up in an accident? I'm pretty sure somewhere in there. Yeah, and he was 33rd. Hendrick is just it is so bad right now. Or not bad. Again, it's not like it's so bad because like Chase Elliott was doing top 5 finishes constantly. He just wasn't winning. It's just I don't get it. But yeah, anyways, moral of the story is Toyota and Ford are fucking fantastic in the last month and a bit. And RFK looks like a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, possibly. Buescher's fully cemented himself with back-to-back wins on 2 different courses. And Keselowski's still in on points, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
Yeah,
so and like comfortably in. So it's this is gonna be a lot of fun for the last 3 weeks to just determine the last 2 spots and then the playoffs.
Yeah, and also like Bubba's had even all of 2311 has had some very good performances. Only to be shot in the head, not even the foot, in the head by their own pit crew. Both Bubba Wallace, it's been a constant thing in his season all year, is that he's had a good fast car, gets screwed over by his team, and then last week Tyler Reddick, who was in a position to win, and I'm so fucking pissed off because
did you not make money? Oh, so sad.
I live betted him a lap before.
Oh no. Before what, Sean? What happened?
His team decided not to put a tire on. Well, what happened was the pit stop. They went in. They dropped the car before the tire was on. The guy hit the gun in. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's on." It was not on. So
just slap it and away it goes. Nope.
Man, his radio after that was fucking hilarious.
Well, and it makes sense too, right? Like he's already in on a win, so it doesn't really matter. But he could be a little higher up. Like he's 30 points behind Buescher. But at the same time, with how rough they've had it, he could probably be up a little bit higher than or was it 9th? So those points will matter in about 6 weeks when it comes to the round of 12.
Yeah, I mean.
Or could matter,
both
I guess.
Get in. Both those cars will get in. It won't be a problem for them.
Oh, they're in, and well, yeah. Again, barring it's. I don't know where to talk about this because there's so many things I actually want to talk about NASCAR about with both how Michigan ended and also the fact that we have 2 road courses and a bunch of road course specialists that need a win to get in.
Take it away. Mm-hmm. You can, if you want to talk about it. I will let you lead this.
Take it away.
Okay. Let's do
car. Sweet. Okay, so let's do Michigan first. So Sean already talked about Reddick, which is really unfortunate because it looked like it was going to be a 2-car race between him and Buescher for most of it. Those 2 took off at the start of stage 3.
And he had Monday Marty.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the other thing. But you can't blame NASCAR, I guess, for the scheduling. Or can you? It was, what, a 4 o'clock start originally?
No, that was earlier. Or was it? Because they tried to start it earlier. It was started around noon, I remember, on Sunday, and still got rained out.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't blame NASCAR. It was just not going to happen. Mondays were not for Marty because that got trumped by back-to-back Buescher. Which that was hilarious when you put out that the odds were, or when we were looking at odds and it was negative for Truex and he was running 8th and Buescher was plus 900, which I took live, by the way. Thank you very much, Chris Buescher.
You took Buescher. Okay, good job.
Yep,
of course.
Plus 900 and he's leading. How do you not?
That's why I took I took Reddick
Reddick.
when he was plus 800. I'm like, fuck it,
Yeah.
let's go with that one. So
Yeah,
we hedged our bets, and as a podcast, we won. It's fine.
Sure.
I love that energy from you, Sean, because most of the time you're just depressed about your losses.
I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm just happy for my friends.
Yeah, okay, that's total bull, but all right, we'll go with it for now.
As he slowly dies inside. But anyways, yeah, you must have been you must have had the same radio message as Reddick. Yeah,
what the
which is unfortunate because again, so they were doing a nice 2-car tandem around Michigan. That was great to see. Like,
it's just great track. I love different. Michigan.
Yep. Yeah, it's had good races. It was a 90% race-o-meter from Jeff Gluck's thing last year.
Was that like
this year was an 85, and I'm sure part of that is due to the fact that it ran on a Monday, but it was still a good race.
Well, that's not a bad review for being rained out on the Sunday.
No, and Truex was putting on a bit of a show on a Monday, not surprisingly, because he fought through the field multiple times, I think, to get past. And it was just a solid race, and Buescher held on. They made the strategy work with Reddick. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Probably not, considering they're different teams, different manufacturers. But they made the tandem run work, didn't fight too much, and knew it was, if we can nail our strategy, it's just going to come down to us two. And if it comes down to the final lap, it comes down to the final lap.
Yeah.
Right, they were able to stop earlier, take extra fuel, and I think the gap came down to a second after the pit stops. But that was when you're running that well, why are you gonna change it on your long runs, right?
Yeah. Worry about it.
And it also and also to be fair, they got lucky that it was green flag running for 67 laps at the end, I think, or 60, near almost 70 laps. So if your car's good in the long run and you get a long run all the way to the checkered flag, you're going to do well.
I feel like this next-gen car has actually been pretty good in the long runs. People hated the old long runs because that's when the field gets strung out. That's when nothing's happening. It's a bunch of guys just running their own race. Yes. But with this next-gen car, it seems like they are able to have long runs and still be competitive. Obviously, in that situation, you're not going after the guy because you're using each other to get that long run, but you have the opportunity to go for it at the end. So no one's running away with it by 30 seconds. You're still within an arm's reach, right?
Yeah. Oh, geez, Sean's dying. Yeah.
I had a call, okay?
Yeah.
I muted the mic.
It was, yeah. But it was a solid race, and I mean, in the end, it didn't change too much in terms of we didn't get a new winner because again, Buescher back to back. But and a lot you could really say this is a big win. You could we can go through. You could say it's a big win for Suarez, who's still fighting for a spot. He is just outside, but McDowell fighting for a spot, 24th. Chase Elliott was fighting for a spot. He was 30 something.
He didn't make it to Monday.
Yeah. Bowman was fighting. Bowman's fighting for a spot. He finished in the 30s. There's a lot of guys that didn't have a good weekend, and Suarez was the one guy, so he was the big winner this week, along with Bubba Wallace, because Bubba's if it comes down to points, Bubba's in at this point.
Yeah, and you need two guys to win in the next two races to get him out.
Yes.
I don't think that will happen.
Yeah,
I think
so
he's
we'll get to that.
Himself.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second, just because Ty Gibbs also big winner, finishing just outside the top 10 and getting some solid points. Chris Bell had a good. I know he's already in on a win, but considering he wrecked the back end in the wall in stage 1, I think, and still brought it home top 15, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good run.
Ooh, love that.
Right, so
I love that for my fantasy team.
Yeah, but anywho. Sean, we gotta pull her in somehow.
Okay, fine. Good job, Taylor.
There you go.
Okay.
You know okay, wow, thank you.
Anyway.
I don't know anything, and we all know this.
I know, it's fine.
Well, about NASCAR, asterisk.
You said it. It's out there now. It's clipped.
Yeah.
No, I'm deleting that asterisk part. I have the power of the edit.
Yes,
you are working against me.
course. I always have to make myself look best. Hello.
There you go.
See? Okay, Steven.
Well, that says everything about you.
Yes.
Anywho. So yeah. That I don't know. Anything else, Sean from Michigan?
No, I got nothing.
I think that was
we
pretty
could
much
talk
it.
about the
Like,
off-track stuff that happened that I feel like we need to touch on.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously Noah Gragson didn't run this week. That's because he liked a very distasteful meme on Instagram, and everyone pointed it out.
Yeah.
And he was suspended.
It's a bad one. Like,
Yeah, he was immediately suspended by Legacy, so no real surprise. I didn't really get why NASCAR also suspended him. That sort of was a little overkill when you could just be like, yeah, we support the team and their decision, and we'll reevaluate next week when their internal. Because I think Legacy was I just want to see if they were a full like indefinite suspension, because that's what NASCAR did. So if they're covering their ass that way, sure, I get it.
Probably.
But
I don't think he's going to touch a car again.
No,
He's also been terrible.
Yeah,
well,
like
I mean,
hasn't come
so
out and, like,
to be fair, Legacy as a team has been terrible.
true.
So, but yes, he's also hasn't provided any like super wow performances. So it's gonna be interesting come next year who's in that 42 car. Because
maybe that's also why the team is terrible. Just maybe thought.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've probably given up on the season in terms of we're just sort of done. We're gonna focus on next year, get ready to run with Toyota.
You know what his best finish is all year?
It's not good, I know that. Let me guess, like 20?
No, it's 12th.
Oh, still,
That's you know what his second best finish is all year?
What?
No, you're right. It's 20.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's had one random good one.
That was at Atlanta. He's not been good, man.
No. So yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just want to see. I'm still trying to find where his. Okay, so they didn't say what he's or how long he's actually suspended. So he just that he was immediately suspended. So
Basically indefinitely.
Yeah, well, so either way, he's done indefinitely, and indefinitely when there's 3 races left, and he's not winning a race, so it's a 3-race suspension, and then we'll see. So
yeah.
Anyways, Josh Berry ran for him this week.
Berry's been good. Every time he has to replace someone,
especially as Mike Rockenfeller's filling in this week though for
obviously get your road course specialist
for the road course. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's not a surprise. But I guess to sort of transfer into the silly season of NASCAR, we also had Truex say he's coming back for 2024. So that's another seat that will not be open, whether it's a full reshuffle, whether it would have been a full reshuffle of like Gibbs to the 19 or someone new into the 19, however it was going to work out. It's one less spot. Legacy is moving to Toyota, so that if we can assume the 42 is open, it's got to be like Hunter Nemechek, right? Like another Toyota driver.
Yeah, I think so. I think that right? Logically makes sense for a guy to take his next step.
Yeah, and he deserves it, right?
I think so. I think he's put in enough good performances to show he's
and
not a guy like Noah Gragson.
Yeah, and he's a Toyota guy, so again, that wouldn't be a huge surprise. Front Row Motorsports announced today that Gilliland and McDowell are back, so that's 2 Ford seats that are getting eaten up.
I don't hate that for them also. You know, that's been a decent driver pairing for you. I'm sure the cost of them isn't a whole lot. You're building as a team and you've continued to get good results here and there. And you know what? That's not a really bad place to have it. I actually don't hate that at all.
No, it's a good lineup. And I mean, you have McDowell fighting for a playoff spot. Gilliland's not the worst driver on the grid, so as long as he just putts around and helps the team out from time to time and makes himself interesting every once in a while. Good to go. So, anyway, still a season done. Last thing on NASCAR is we're down to the last 3 races. We've got basically 2 spots open for playoffs. You could get a different driver every week, but that's highly unlikely, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Bubba and Ty Gibbs currently holding the last 2 spots in the playoffs on points. Bubba's 58 above the cut line. You have McDowell, 3 out. Suarez, 5 out. Allmendinger, 24 out. Bowman, 44 out. Cindric, 53 out. Chase Elliott, 55 out. After that, I don't really consider anyone there much of a threat, but that's mostly due to the fact that of those guys, like, you could see Suarez, McDowell, Allmendinger, and I'll throw in Elliott as well, possibly winning on one of the 2 road courses we got left. Right? And then you got Daytona, which is just going to be a shit show, regardless. Granted, you also have SVG coming back, who's already won a race this year for the road course this week as well.
Yeah.
And that's going to be... Can you imagine if he wins twice and just knocks someone out of a playoff spot?
No, I actually can't imagine that happening, to be honest.
Okay, fine. You don't have faith.
No. My faith is that...
No faith.
My faith is Ty Gibbs does not make the playoffs.
Okay. I guess that's not a huge surprise. He's the lowest one on the cutting block.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Okay, so we're going into what? Indianapolis and then Watkins Glen, and then Daytona.
Yep.
So with those being the 3 final races, right? It's 3 left, right? So it's 3.
Yep.
Yes, 3.
You have to look at those as being 2 road courses, and literally all the guys sitting outside the playoffs right now are good at road courses.
Is that not what I just said?
No, but that's exactly, like, I can easily see Allmendinger just to be with consistent results. They don't even have to win; they will just have to do better than Gibbs, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's not about the winning. It's not about the winning. It's just being there consistently. Like, I think it's going to be Suarez. I really think Suarez is going to make it.
Yeah.
I can see Allmendinger doing it, but I think Suarez is the...
I think Allmendinger needs to go for a win. He's a little far back. You cannot bank on, like, if so. Going back to our conversation on Chase Elliott getting in on points.
Yeah.
You cannot control the fact that you have multiple other guys going for point to get in on points that are good road racers. You don't want to leave your fate in other people's hands on them just not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're AJ Allmendinger. He did make the mistake last week, I think, because this team had a really good chance to get in on points, and he just said, screw practice and qualifying. I'm going to start from the back at Richmond. And I think that was a big mistake, one, because this team, you don't know how it's going to play out. He is obviously a road course guy, but when you're a road course specialist and you're still only 24 points out, and that was the call your team made,
yeah,
you got to think the cup race is more important, right?
Yep.
So, but I think he needs to go for a win. I know on the teardown they were talking like who's going for points and is it better to go for a win? Yeah, it's 100% better to go for a win. A win guarantees that you're in.
100%.
Right? You're not catching 3 of the guys that are in on points. There's realistically 1 spot left for guys trying to get in on points. So get a win.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and McDowell's been good at road courses. Suarez is obviously a road course guy, but Suarez is also sneakily a really good plate racer as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like if none of these guys get a win, say we get like next week, I don't know, Tyler Reddick wins next week. You know, he's decent at road courses too. And then you get maybe a Blaney, because I also feel like we haven't really talked about Blaney all year.
No.
Yeah.
He's been relatively quiet. He got his win.
Yeah.
But
all of the Penske's have been relatively quiet this year in NASCAR.
True.
Yeah. Well, again, the Fords weren't really doing great until, again, 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like again, they won a couple races, but it was more. They've shown a lot of power on the intermediates and the short courses. I think just the schedules moving more into that short course part of the season has helped.
But also, don't forget,
right?
Fords have an advantage at super speedways as well because they can push better with the flat flipper. So yeah.
Yep, but they also haven't had the engine to do, like, yes, they do bump draft better, but they haven't had a great engine for those super speedways when they aren't bumping.
I mean,
as a team.
Yeah,
so.
I guess so. But yeah.
Anywho.
I think Gibbs is out. Suarez in. That's going to be my final answer.
Okay. Lock it in.
Locking it in.
So, anything else for this? I think that's basically it for NASCAR. It's going to be fun for 3 weeks, and then playoffs start, and it's going to be even more fun. Yes, I know how much we say that we hate playoffs,
but it is fun.
It's what we have, and would it be just as fun to watch like Truex and Byron and Hamlin and Busch and Larson fight it out for the next 10 weeks?
Yes,
yeah, it'd be equally as fun. Playoffs is what is our reality. We're gonna have as much fun with it as we can, and it will still be fun because we still don't know who's in at this point. You could have, again, it's unlikely, but you could still have Keselowski, Wallace, and Gibbs all not make it on points.
Yep.
Unlikely, still could happen, and that'd be fun as hell. Just heartbreaking the last 3 weeks. It'd be like watching an NHL team just falter with 10 games to go and lose a playoff spot.
I would say Stenhouse is probably more safe, but then again, yeah. If Stenhouse doesn't make it, that's a choke, in my opinion.
He's guaranteed to make it. He won.
Oh, he did? Oh shit, yeah, he did win. I forgot about that. Yes.
Harvick is
Keselowski that hasn't won.
Yeah. Yes. Harvick. One of Harvick or Keselowski will make it on points, depending on how the last 3 races go.
Okay, I see.
But realistically, again, how likely are we going to get 3 different winners?
Not going to happen.
Exactly. So.
Are we boring you, Taylor?
No, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Too much NASCAR talk, I guess.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. It is not you. It's me. Ooh.
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 We're not going down that path. Anyway.
Moving on.
Okay, 0 brain cells today. Moving on.
IndyCar, Nashville. There was a squirrel wearing a cowboy hat.
That was awesome.
That was hilarious.
That's dope.
That was fucking hilarious. But...
Also, did you see Grosjean shaved his mustache? Mustache.
Well, he finally finished a fucking race in the top 5. Holy
I
fuck.
know. Can we all just like clap? Round of applause that Grosjean had a good weekend. And when I say a good weekend, it meant he finished the race. And also finished in the top 6.
He actually did have a good weekend.
He did.
He had a good weekend.
Say anything with that.
I know. I'm just happy for him, It's been a hard season.
Yep. Kirkwood takes the reins as the top Andretti guy.
Who had that one coming?
I know, right? Move over, Herta. You're not going to F1. It's going to be Kyle Kirkwood.
Kyle Kirkwood. I would actually be okay with that because it's not Herta.
Yeah, it's fair.
But you know what? Who knows what's going to happen? Andretti, are you going to get your team? TBD.
I think likely he will, but
I really hope he does. Otherwise, there's going to be a riot of 3 people, and that's going to be this podcast.
Yeah, I will support that. So yeah, we had also surprisingly for this race another Meyer Shank replacement for Simon Pagenaud.
Linus Lundqvist.
Yes.
And he was pretty good most of the weekend.
Did you know he set the fastest lap of the race?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's again this week, I think it is, or next week. Next race, he's also subbing in.
Yes, this week. Because it's double header at
Indianapolis.
Yes.
Right.
Is Pagenaud done?
This year for sure.
For sure this season, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd be surprised if he was around next season. I think he might be done.
Yeah. And
which is really saddening.
Yeah.
They've never said what is wrong with him, what he is out with.
Post-concussion syndrome.
Did they actually say that?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what every release has been.
Yeah, because obviously you got a fucking concussion in that wreck because it was so violent.
It was very violent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, it also wasn't the first like kind of nasty crash he had over the year. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the Indy 500 he crashed out of, or the race before that. But at this point, it's like I can imagine it'd be hard to get back into the car when you're suffering with that kind of condition. And also, like, you're putting yourself in a situation where, like, if you get another concussion, it can be that much worse.
Yep, 100%. And like, even just like the vibrations of the car will not
be
good
could
for your
set
brain.
you off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw it last year in NASCAR with Kurt Busch.
Yep.
Right. So
it's
I think his season's done at this point.
It's interesting seeing now though, concussions being taken seriously in motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have that, I guess, idea in motorsports where it's like, oh, big wreck, I walked away, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. You just hit a wall going very hard. Your body may have stopped, but your brain may have not in your head.
Yeah.
So, as we get more, like, evolved in understanding concussions, it's good to see it being taken more seriously in NASCAR, and I guess in IndyCar as well, like all motorsports. I wonder how long until you would have some kind of concussion protocol also, where it's like, hey, this guy kind of hit his head kind of hard here. Maybe we should have it like mandatory out 2 weeks, something like that.
I'm honestly like a little shocked that there isn't concussion protocol already in motorsports, considering like how often like bad crashes where you're like sustaining a G-force that's kind of insane.
Or watching any onboard crashes or like super speedways and stuff in NASCAR. Like, you watch the guy, they go like this.
Heads getting jostled.
Yeah, their heads move so much in those accidents.
Yeah.
They're a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the hardest part about motorsport is like a lot of the safety stuff that comes in only happens because something bad happens.
Yes, 100%.
Like the proactiveness doesn't exist in the sport, which is like kind of sad and shocking. But I would hope that maybe IndyCar starts to consider actually having a protocol after what happened to Pagenaud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, and so now he's missed 4 races. Right? There's only 4 left on the calendar. And as much as you don't want to mention it, his performance hasn't been great this year. So why are you rushing him back? Right?
Yeah.
Like again, you don't want to mention it, but he hasn't finished in the top 10 all year.
Yeah, he hasn't really been having a great season.
Does Meyer Shank finish in the top 10 of all this year?
No. And yeah, again, that's not a Pagenaud is now over the hill and he sucks. This is just, why are you going to rush a guy back into a backfield car for I don't know, just to ceremoniously parade him out, basically. It'd be like rushing a athlete in a ball and stick sport back from like a broken leg.
That makes sense.
Literally I don't know, just because your team's out of the playoffs, guaranteed out, and you've sold everything, and we just want him out because.
I see nothing wrong with that.
So, yeah.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
So, Linus Lundqvist back again, and hopefully he can keep it on track, which should be slightly easier because...
We got Linus Lundqvist, we got... what was it? Just think of all the different Swedes and Danes and...
We got Linus and Renus. Rosenqvist and Lundqvist.
Yes, the one.
There was another one. I can't remember what it was.
You ever notice how many actual, like, for lack of a better term, Vikings, I would say, Scandinavians are in IndyCar? Marcus, Lundgaard, VK, Benjamin Peterson, Felix Rosenqvist, Linus Lundqvist. There are so many goddamn Scandinavians in IndyCar.
Kevin Magnussen, come on down. Your days at Haas are done. And wasn't he actually?
He did last. Didn't he do it 2 years ago or last?
No,
year?
he was rumored to.
No, he didn't.
Rumored.
Do it in Detroit to have a test or something?
No, because he did the IMSA.
Oh, right, that was it.
He was, and it
Right.
was, oh, he's here for IMSA. Does he wanna? He doesn't have a seat right now. Does he want to come over for IndyCar maybe, just to keep doing open wheels?
That's
you know,
fair.
you're here. You want to try it? Come on, try it.
No, he
Come
did
on,
do
get
a
in the
race
car.
last year, so fuck off.
What year? Which one?
He raced at Road America in 2021. I knew
geez.
he did a race.
Huh. I thought he did like maybe a test or something.
No, he retired from the race too.
Ah, that's
Oh, yeah.
unfortunate.
I knew he did a race. Sucker.
That's fine.
But for Nashville, good event. Seems to be fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, going forward, because they're having a whole new track layout next year. The bridge is the focal point. It really is. The over one way, back the other. That is the focal point of the Nashville race. And honestly, it is a very good looking shot, venue, bridge.
Yep.
I don't know. Good architecture, maybe.
That and the tight turns around the rest of the track when you're not just gunning it over the bumpy bridge.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty fun event.
Yeah. I'd go to Nashville.
Yeah, I'd do that. You wanna go to
Nashville would be so much
We
fun.
should do Nashville next year.
Yeah. Well, and
Yes.
next year it'd be more fun because one, they're well, I don't know if this will be fun or not because they're changing the track layout, right?
I don't hate it, to be honest. It's
No, the random off track.
Pit
You're
lane?
taking basically 5 side streets to get to pit lane. Where's our pit box again? You hang a right at Queen Street, and then you're gonna hang a left on King. And,
Oh, I missed the turn. Recalculating.
Yep.
You know what? Well,
Rerouting.
Well, they're actually
I think
flipping
it's
the
a
track.
I'm
right?
out of gas. Yeah.
They flipped it, so now they're racing it on the other side of the bridge instead of where they currently have like the quick turnaround on the bridge. So they're basically flipping it. So the extra corners are going to be with pit lane is on the other side, and then the quick turnaround on the other side of the bridge is back where they currently have all the other corners. Because they're losing, I think, their actual like paddock and pits there with construction in the area, which is a risk you run with downtown core events like this. Sometimes things get built and it ruins your plans.
Yep.
Just look at Toronto.
Like a hotel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna mention names.
However, with the new Nashville pit lane, I do not even hate the Toronto one. I think Toronto is great now.
Yeah.
Like, Toronto has now the second best pit lane of all the road courses. No, it's third best. Forgot about St. Pete. It used to be one of the worst, and it's creeping back up there because they ruined Detroit, and they're ruining Nashville. So
Yeah.
God, I'm looking at it right now. Like, what the hell is this pit lane? So you know how they always do you're gonna lose an average of 20 seconds. What's the average time lost on this pit lane? You have to do 2 U-turns.
That's insane.
Is where do you come out of the pit lane?
In turn 3, that hard U-turn off the bridge.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the map of it.
That is so whack.
I'm trying to pull up the new layout. So
Just
Okay.
go to our messages, Sean.
yeah, I was pulling up here. So
Also,
Turn
it kind of
one.
looks like
yeah, you turn 1 it makes sense. Turn 2, if you want to call that a turn, sure, over the bridge. I don't like the idea of having the pit entrance right at the end of a long speed straight
Into a U-turn.
into a U-turn. Yeah, someone's gonna wreck in pit lane next year, and then you have another U-turn.
Yeah.
What is this pit lane?
Yeah.
this pit
And-
lane is actually like so weird.
And the start finish is on the other side of the track.
What?
Yeah.
You thought
Okay.
Toronto was a
No.
little funky with how they do their the start finish timing line is just before the pit entrance. I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. how do
It
they
at
do
least
timing like
kind of
this?
makes sense. This makes no sense whatsoever.
So
Also, does it look like a tobacco pipe to anybody?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it does.
yes,
Like,
it's literally what it is.
Actually, I can also go
there's
with
like
a
an
ladle.
old man smoking.
Can also
this
say a
track.
ladle.
Or a
It's
ladle.
definitely not a ladle.
I'm trying to be a little more PG for this, okay?
It's a what? All right. You can be PG all you want. Although,
fair.
like, all I'm saying is, like, your great grandfather would have smoked a tobacco pipe back in the day because they all did at that point. That's what this looks like.
That's valid. I don't understand the paddock area being just away from the track under the bridge. It'll be an adventure, I think. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're saying is that group trip to Nashville next year.
I will do it for the chaos. Because I'm not spending money on Taylor Swift tickets, I might as well spend it on something else.
Yeah.
The way the tickets are going right now, you get your hotel, your tickets, and your travel all for the same price. So you tell me what's
For Nashville?
Well,
probably.
on,
Have you looked at the resale prices?
Yeah, it's like $8,000 for a fucking like nosebleed.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. No.
But the other thing I was going to point out, the other reason Nashville would be fun, it's the season finale next year.
Yes.
Oh, right. So even more we should go.
Yeah. So, when Alex Pelosi won the race with 3 to go already.
Hey, there will be a red flag. Let's be honest.
No, I'm talking about races, not.
Oh, okay.
Laps.
I meant the race. Okay, sorry.
No.
I'm putting this in my calendar already. I'm gonna book it.
Okay. But yeah. So yeah, when Pelosi already won the championship, he won't be there. Yeah. He'll be in F1. Come on.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Honestly, maybe.
Though I do have a fun F1 silly season prediction for y'all.
Okay.
Ooh, hit us.
We'll get there. We'll get there. No.
Yeah.
Fine.
No. Do we want to touch any more on the race?
Can we talk about the red flag?
Yes. I thought you were going to say talk about Malukas' wing just falling off, but yeah, sure.
Apparently that was an engine failure that caused a fire that melted it. So like it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Oh, and then also all the bumps probably doesn't help.
Yeah, exactly. Just weakens it and it died. Not a whole lot there. But what I will want to say is the red flag, because people were not happy with the red flag.
No, and that was after what caused the red flag, Sean?
That was first was before that you had to restart because what's his name? Damn, we just talked about him. Linus Lundqvist crashed it with like 6 to go. So Lundqvist binned it. Then
his only error of the weekend.
Yeah. So, and he was running a decent spot too, I think.
Yeah.
So he binned it. We had to restart. On the restart, because the track is so dirty and covered in marbles.
Right.
3 guys just go off in the corner. And they were stacked. 4? Oh, right.
4.
Right after, right?
Herta hit the wall. He just kept going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you had 3 cars literally stacked on top of each other.
Peterson, Harvey, and Rosenquist.
Yeah. So we had a red flag. And I think that was the absolute right call to make.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about getting a finish under green flag, which of course is what it is. But at the same time, your track condition was not safe. Because of the marbles on the track, you couldn't operate the car safely and try to pass, as we saw with the fucking pileup. So the red flag to clean up the damn marbles made perfect sense.
Not to mention you had one car in the wall, another car shoved underneath it, and a third car blocking the half of the other open lane. So, maybe we just park everybody quickly and not have guys try and squeeze past a crew working around that.
You could have had that under yellow and do all that. Fine. I get it. But I think you still would have had enough time to go back and maybe if you had gone yellow, right, you probably would have gotten a 1-lap shootout. Yeah. They probably would have brought it in the green with 1 to go, and you're still sending guys out on a more aggressive timetable now. But this way, we got 5 laps to finish. It wasn't like a green-white checkered. It was, let's clean the track. Let's get this wreck tidied up. But let's make the finish of this race safe. And they were clean the rest of it. There was no crashes. And you can definitely see the effect the marbles had on those cars from the beginning of that. And then at the end, it was clean. So I think that was the right call.
Yeah, like I understand why people sometimes get like hate red flags towards end of races, sure, but also like just from the aspect of like a worker who's seen cleanups, it is so much easier for them to clean massive pileups and marbles when there's not like a field of cars going through
Yep.
at various points, right? Like it's just that much easier to have their space. They know that it's not a hot track. It's just so much easier to clean it up. It's probably faster, it'll get done a lot easier, and it just makes everything a lot safer. And honestly more enjoyable. Like I don't understand. Sometimes I understand why people are upset, but also I don't understand why people are upset with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it there too. Steven, thoughts, opinions, suggestions?
Yeah, no, again, like it's there. It was such. Again, it was such a tight squeeze there. Why risk something else happening?
Yeah.
There's no,
especially if you're now going to the
point.
dirty part of the track to squeeze in there.
Yeah, and I mean, so again, we saw with Indy the 500 that they'd much rather just have a green flag finish. But now, like you can justify it and not have people be pissed off about it, right? Like the track was clearly not great, like you said. Tightest part of the track, where you're already having trouble squeezing cars through 2x2. Why are you going to risk it with people on track? Like it just makes the most sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And
what else are you gonna do?
Just an important thing before we move on from Nashville, I just want to point out that for the championship, it was really good because we had Newgarden finish 4th, Dixon finished 5th. You know, they got some good points. Oh, wait, Plow was 3rd. Never mind.
Yeah.
Even when he's pedestrian, he's still on the podium.
Doesn't make sense.
He's
Again,
so good.
The moment you knew this was done was when he brought that car home at Indy and was a top 10 finish. That was just what the fuck, how?
Yeah.
So,
what's his worst finish all year?
is it still like 8th?
It is.
God damn.
Which he has two. He has two eighth place finishes.
Still, that's just stupid.
Nothing else outside the top 5.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like Scott Dixon's season in 2020. Just win. You get your string of wins in like 4 or 5 races, and then just don't be shit. Not even be shit. Or when you are having a rougher weekend, you're still like just banking a ton of points.
You know he's gonna get one more.
Yeah, probably.
Plow's definitely gonna get another win.
Yeah. What do we got left? We got Indy this weekend,
Gateway.
St. Louis, yeah, Portland, and Monterey.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably gets one in there somewhere.
I think he'll win the Laguna Seca again. 30 seconds makes sense.
I can see him winning Indy again.
Shit,
He's already won there once.
He can win both of those. Obviously,
Yeah.
Gateway you got to give to Joseph, right? Obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Portland.
hilarious. How
Portland
he
just
is
give
running away
it
with
to someone. Yeah. Portland just give it to someone. I don't know who.
That's fair.
Anywho.
It is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is.
All right, that's it for Nashville.
Yes.
We covered the most important thing too, which was the squirrel with the cowboy hat. So
That's true. Okay, so
Checked all
I
of it.
wanted to give you guys before we wrap this up, a bold silly season prediction for F1. Very bold.
I love me some bold predictions.
And a comparison of 2 young drivers and who will actually be in F1 next and be the better driver in their career. So, to start, here is my prediction for F1 silly season, okay? Starting with Red Bull, right?
okay,
Obviously, Max is going to be back. He's been great. You know who hasn't been great?
Checo.
Sergio Perez.
Even though we've said he's been fine.
I know, but in the eyes of Red Bull, you're not perfect. You're out.
So you're
So-
grading on the Red Bull curve. Gotcha.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
So we're going to go with Red Bull gets rid of Perez. He's gone. Okay. Your second driver is Yuki Tsunoda. gets promoted to the big team.
Okay.
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 Ferrari, you still have your 2 there, obviously. Though apparently Sainz has been talking around to other teams, like he was feeling out. But they apparently, according to rumors, have their deals almost done. So Ferrari's going to be Ferrari. McLaren, this is when things get fun. Okay.
Things are already fun, but okay.
Oh, wait, no, I think I screwed this up. No, it wasn't Tsunoda that's promoted. Okay, let's shut the start.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
this is where I did it. This is what I had it.
Cut.
Okay.
Cut.
Try this again. Okay, so Red Bull. You have Max. Max stays. Yeah. Max is the guy. Perez, underperforming. Perez gets the boot. Replacing Perez, boot. This is where the fun begins, is Lando Norris. That's the fun one.
I was gonna say, where are you pulling Norris or Piastri out of a McLaren? I wouldn't understand that in your
Sean.
No, I know. No. When you originally started this,
I know. Yeah, I know.
When you got to McLaren, I was like, how the fuck is this gonna work?
Yeah, that was the original idea.
But also, that is the boldest of bold.
Wait, time out. Hang on, I gotta ask this question. Is this because of all of the Instagram pictures with
100%.
him on a Red Bull Ski-Doo, Red Bull life jacket? Fuck sakes.
He is going to Red Bull. Perez gone.
No, he's not.
Norris in. Done. It's all but confirmed.
That would be hilarious.
It is not all but you, sir.
No.
Just made your hat out of tinfoil.
Oh, 100% tinfoil hat. This is where we're going with this. So
I do like it just because it's chaotic.
Oh, exactly. This is almost too chaotic.
Okay, so Ferrari, still Ferrari. Open seat.
Of course.
Open seat at Mercedes. No, sorry, open seat at.
I was gonna say, how do you get an open seat
Mercedes.
at Mercedes now?
Open seat at McLaren.
Jesus Christ.
Who fills the seat at McLaren?
Palou.
Alex Palou goes to McLaren.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And also, Ricardo retires. He's done. So you also have a spot open at AlphaTauri.
No, that is not going to happen. No, false.
Yuki kicks his ass. Yuki kicks his ass the entire year. He's done.
Ricardo's not going to retire. Why would he do that after he just came back?
I don't know. I don't make the rules. Fine. He ends up at Haas. How about that? Because
okay, all right, sure.
Hulkenberg really shouldn't be in there anymore.
He's been the better of the two guys there.
Okay, Magnussen's been faster. Hulkenberg has more points. It doesn't count.
Therefore, he's been better.
Therefore, he has been better on the scoreboard.
What else do I have here? I can't remember the rest of this prediction, but that was kind of it. That's how Palou gets into That's how Palou gets into F1. Is that Perez is out. Lando goes to Red Bull.
Norris is in.
Yep. And Palou fills that McLaren seat.
Okay, I'm gonna say you've had some really bold predictions over the course of this podcast.
He's off his rocker here.
I didn't take my meds.
Yeah, this is beyond those bold predictions.
Okay.
And what's really, really funny is 12 hours ago, F1 put out their 2024 driver lineup.
Yeah.
Perez is in there, and you could have just said Lando Norris goes to the same engine team and takes Lewis Hamilton's seat because Lewis retires. That would make much more sense.
George Russell to Ferrari.
Okay, Sean, you need to stop. Stop this now. No.
I am trying to manufacture every single bit of chaos I can to have some kind of fun with this F1 season, okay?
Okay, well, the chaos is going to be when Lewis Hamilton announces his retirement because Mercedes won't pay him what he wants.
Boo.
That's a better prediction. That's a more maybe will happen, could happen prediction.
Alonso retiring also makes sense too.
Yeah. That's somehow less likely than Hamilton retiring in my mind for some reason.
Interesting.
Because Alonso's Alonso, and I swear he's just going to he doesn't care.
He's like an ageless wonder.
Yeah, pretty much. But Hamilton, I kind of feel like if he doesn't get what he wants, he'll just say, you know what, screw this sport, I'm out.
That's fair.
I get those vibes. I don't know. Maybe I'm off my rocker, but I feel like that's a little little more on the money than Lando dipping from McLaren and going to Red Bull.
But the life jacket. The life jacket.
Sean, no, Instagram is not going to tell you anything. It's just a photo.
I want to believe.
Oh my gosh, sir, I'm gonna buy you a tinfoil hat.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna make you a tinfoil hat.
I'll wear it.
I know you
have
wear
it
it
for conspiracy theory sections of the podcast. This is conspiracy theory corner.
And now it's time. Now it's time for conspiracy theories with Sean.
This is conspiracy theory corner with Sean. That's what we're calling this.
Okay, that was better than my rant corner.
Yeah.
I haven't done a rant in a while, you know.
You haven't. No, let's keep it that way.
I really haven't. Why? I love my rant sesh.
I know, but it's usually just hating on Ferrari.
Excuse me.
We
Pardon?
already do that every week.
Exactly.
I don't hate on Ferrari. I love Ferrari,
Yeah,
but I
but-
just really question their choices.
And they're really abusive towards you. You should let them go.
I know, it is a really abusive relationship.
If Palou goes to McLaren, I will become a McLaren fan immediately. Especially if they ditch Norris.
Oh. If they ditch Norris, I might consider becoming a McLaren fan.
Only if Palou's there, though. Anyway. Moving
True.
on. Final
Fact.
thing I want to talk about. I want to compare for you two young...
Still part of your hypothetical?
No. Two
Okay.
young up-and-coming drivers. I'm going to give you their last 5 years of their career. Okay?
Okay.
So this driver, 5 years, not 5 years, I guess, because this year they're not driving because they're in a reserve role. But
Who could it be?
I know in 2018
Wow.
they won the Spanish Formula 3 and
Okay.
Euro Formula Open Championship, which is I guess is kind of similar. Then 2019 in FIA Formula 3. They finished 16th, so again, not doing so well. 2020, they started their Formula 2 career, and they finished 9th in that. 2021, again, Formula 2, they were 8th. And then 2022, they did the Formula 2 career and won their final year of that, and they won it. Obviously, I am talking about Felipe Drugovich, who now this year is in a reserve role at is it Aston Martin? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The other guy I want to talk about. He was 2019 Formula 4 champion. 2020 Formula 3 came second. 2021 started his Formula 2 career and came 5th. And then 2022 came second, losing out to Felipe Drugovich. And now this year they are leading the championship. And obviously, I'm talking about Theo Pourchaire. I think that's how pronounced. Sarah, don't kill me.
He doesn't listen. You're fine.
I know she does. It's fine.
Unbelievable. No support.
And I just kind of want to say is, does Formula 2 success mean you should be in F1? And should either of these two guys be in F1? And if so, when do you think we'll actually see them racing? Or do you think that it's a little bit overblown? Specifically when it comes to Drugovich, or is Theo Pourchaire maybe overhyped?
It's a bit of a weird one because there is still like your top-down top teams, right? Like it's not just purely this guy. Like it's not like yes, with IndyCar you can see that Palou is just extremely talented but he is in a top 3 team, but still a little more parity, I'd say, than F2. And I mean, if we're going by super license points too to get to F1, they're still very heavy. Like I get you wanted to compare just straight across between these two, but if you're talking about a rival in F1, you can't just talk about these two. They're not the only two up for the seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in this case, like you could realistically stick either one. I'd be interested to see like what Drugovich has done as his role as a development driver and also having a full year off from actual racing.
I think when you compare these two, like you said, you have to look at it, I guess, as a whole, right? And their teams matter, right?
Yeah.
So Drugovich raced in Formula 2 for 2 teams. He did his first season with MP Motorsports, second one with Uni Virtuosi Racing, and the third one where he won the championship was back with MP. MP is not a good team. This is their results in Formula 2 as a constructor. 6th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 6th, 1st, 5th. Which one of those is the outlier?
Where Drugovich won.
Yes.
So you could say that he's out driving the car there.
Yes.
Probably. Most likely. You know, there could be the whole they just dump money in for 1 year, but that's highly unlikely.
It's a lot different though, because you don't really develop a car in Formula 2, right? It's more spec series.
Yeah.
So you don't have as much play with it. Meanwhile, Theo Pourchaire's entire career in F2 has been with ART Grand Prix. Now, this is their history in Formula 2, which is 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 5th, 3rd, 1st. A lot more of a competitive team. Like, obviously, I think usually back in those days, Primo was also winning a lot of races. But they've definitely been more consistent than MP Motorsport. And you can argue last year when Pourchaire and Drugovich went up against each other, Drugovich won in worse equipment. And this year, Pourchaire is running away with it in, I would say, middle to higher tier equipment. I will not say that ART is the best, but I will say they are definitely not the worst in the grid.
Yeah, it's sort of like similar to IndyCar. They are in their comparable would be like the Chip Ganassi, Andretti sort of realm. They're not Rahal or Meyer Shank.
Well, I would say that's a great example. Like you're almost comparing a Meyer Shank team to like a McLaren team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like up and coming, maybe building there, but they're not the top team. They're not the Penske. They're not the Ganassi.
Yeah.
So is Pourchaire overvalued? Because everyone says he is the next big thing in F1. I don't know if he is, and I don't really know where he goes. And Drugovich, I actually think Drugovich will just kind of fade in the back into nothing.
Yeah.
And you could argue his Formula 2 win was a flash in the pan season over his entire career, because in the 5 years I listed, he only had one other championship in that 5 years. So this is the hard thing with young drivers, right? What's talent? What's luck? What's machinery? And what do they actually control? Head to head, you can argue. Drugovich won. Well, he won the championship. The year before, Drugovich was 8th, Pourchaire was 6th. Or 5th, sorry. So, I don't know, what do you guys think of how would you grade young drivers that are up and coming? What are qualities you should look for in these guys?
Oof.
Well, for F1, you got to look at, well, I guess really any, but definitely in F1, you got to look at their single lap pace, like how many, like,
yeah,
you didn't list any of their
Pole
stats, their overtaking ability. So when they are in adverse spots, like you said, this equipment is much more. There's more parity. There is some difference, but you can realistically still overtake. So how are they doing in terms of overtaking when they're put lower in the lineup? Like if it's super easy to overtake, you maybe say, well, is it skill difference or is that just equipment difference? Mm-hmm. Again, here it's probably a little bit of both, but you can put a little more on skill.
That's fair.
Than say in F1. Like again, Perez can cruise through a field easily because he's in the best equipment. Mm-hmm. Whereas Logan Sargent cannot cruise through anything because he's in shit equipment and a rookie. So it is tough, especially not watching a whole lot of these races. It is the nice thing is much more openly available now.
Yep.
And I want to watch more of this so we can really see the difference in what is making these drivers stand out or not stand out, right? Like looking at, like, if you go through race by race, it doesn't look like Pourchaire is necessarily running away with everything every single week. So you can say that maybe there's some more skill there. You go to 2022 where it's Drugovich, he won by 100 points.
Here's the thing I would also say with exactly. But Pourchaire, when he comes to his year this year, he has one win.
So he's just driving consistency. He's got the Scott Dixon. He's got the Scott Dixon. We're not gonna necessarily be on the podium every week, but we're gonna bring it home. It's really, are they Niki Lauda or are they James Hunt? Are they gonna fucking send it for the podium or go for the points? And consistency is how we're gonna win. Are they Ricky Bobby philosophy or not? Are they high Reese Bobby? Or are they sober Reese Bobby?
If you're a talent scout, if you're Helmut Marko, what are you looking for in these guys? Are you looking for that consistency, or do you want to see whoever's the fucking fastest?
Ideally both.
Yeah, I would say consistency and pace. I would also throw in some grit.
Elaborate.
Well, I think. Well, I mean, if we're stepping in the shoes, I think you kind of want to look for someone who's not going to be afraid to go for it. But like obviously in young drivers, like they don't necessarily understand that all the time. But if they're not afraid to go for it, then you can at least develop that into understanding when you take it and when you don't. But if you're constantly like just not going to take the gap, you're not going to push for it, then I think that's kind of where you see kind of the failures in F1 where, they don't have that kind of natural grit, or like, I don't want to say aggression, but like it also is kind of aggression.
Do you know who's a great example of that though? Who I think in F1, guy who has no aggression when it comes to overtaking people? Lance Stroll.
Yes.
He does not send it ever.
No, he never does.
No. But here's the thing. When he was coming up through the ranks, he had that aggression. He got a race ban because he was over-aggressive. And he never was aggressive again.
Well, the thing is, though, is that like it's not about being not aggressive at all. It's about like being aggressive at the right points and identifying that, right? Like I would say I would put maybe like Verstappen now in that category.
I think so. I think a couple years ago he was over-aggressive and definitely put himself
100%.
in that spot.
When he first came in? Yeah,
yes.
100%.
Yeah.
He was still a teenager, too.
Yeah, I would say Leclerc is a little less aggressive than he used to be, but I think he knows that balance a lot more. I think Carlos is on that as well. So I think that there's like, you have to have that in order to be successful in F1. Like there's no way that, like, otherwise you're going to be a backmarker and it's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's fair. Any final thoughts on this, Steven? Anything?
I mean, in the end, there's a very easy solution here because so if Pourchaire wins and say Haas brings back the same lineup, Williams brings back the same lineup, I'm just looking through like who else is, what open seats there are. Like the easy solution is put more teams on the grid so that way you're not bleeding your talent out to different series, like Callum Ilott and Christian Lundgaard, for example. There's a very easy solution here. You could easily put these guys in seats and then keep the talent that you've put so much into so far. So that way they get a seat in F1. But I guess, like, so let's say, I don't know, Zhou's out. Here's the other thing too. Like, you sadly also have to look at like loyalty in terms of who's with what team in terms of upbringing, right?
Yep.
Like Drugovich looks like he's in what, Mercedes family,
I think so. Yeah, he's definitely been a Mercedes guy.
right? So what's Porsche in?
Renault, I assume.
Who's he a reserve driver for and a test driver for right now?
Alfa Romeo.
So all of a sudden, if Joe is out, hey, Porsche's the first guy in because we're gonna take our guy over your guy.
That's a good point.
So that's why it's so tough to say which guy will be in. It's because
We could
as
see
much as
both
you
in
want
the
to say
grid next year.
you could, but
You could.
could you see, like, is it going to be purely on merit? Is it going to be some backroom shenanigans with allegiances? Does Porsche get in because
Do we think Logan
Joe is
Sargent's will be
out?
back?
I don't know. Does that get Drugovich in if he's out?
Maybe.
Or if say Lewis is out, Albon moves up to Mercedes, and then
they're on the same team, maybe.
Yeah, there's another seat for Drugovich. Or yeah, they're both Williams seats are open, and boom,
And you get the comparison you want.
Yeah, into the other seat. So it's tough to say, and I think in the end, Drugovich might be more prepared with more time as a reserve driver and getting some extra testing done.
Yeah, for the actual other parts of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's been around the team every single weekend. You know, Porsche is still doing his F2 duties. Maybe Drugovich is a little more prepared.
Yeah, possibly.
But who's to say Porsche isn't more race ready, being the guy that's actually racing the car?
Yeah. Good points. Good point.
And again, the saddest point is that there might be a situation where neither makes it, and it's simply due to the fact that F2 champions are, I don't want to say penalized, but somewhat penalized for winning. And just winning at the wrong time.
And on that cheerful note, I think that's a fantastic place to wrap up.
Yay.
So thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back next week. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.